tuning into Sin's Workshop. Hope you're having a wonderful day. So, today we are going to be talking about we could be villains. I liked the concept of the book. I did not like the execution of the book. It follows Rosemary. She is a huge fan of Vigilant Auntie. They are kind of like, I guess, Marvel, almost. That's how she equates them to. So she equates them to Marvel a lot. You get it. You see the resemblance. This is going to sound really bad, but this book just seems like Marvel fan fiction. Was that harsh? I don't like being mean. I know I give the air of, oh yeah, like I like being mean and I'm dark and I'm dreary. But I really don't like being mean, especially as an author, because I know people are going to be mean about my shit, for sure. For sure. There's a lot of potential in this book. But it follows Rosemary. She loves Vigilant Auntie. She works at a coffee shop. And the book opens up. She thinks she's being followed. I will say, I love the fact that she is aware of her surroundings. But it felt like we kind of jumped into that. Like, there's no precursor for this. Her mom is an interior decorator. Her dad is a banker. There's really no build. Like, why is she so nervous about her surroundings? Like, we have no backstory for her. She goes to school. She wants to be a drama. She kind of wants to be an actress. She can sing. And very normal life, very normal parents. But there's really no backstory. And honestly, I kind of hated her parents. I did. And her relationship with her parents, when Ironfall, who's the villain of Vigilant Auntie, turns out to be a real person, a real villain, who is in fact chasing her and threatens, like, oh, if you don't become my sidekick, I'm going to kill your parents. And then she gets all sobby faced because she hates the villains. But then she's slowly falling in love with him. I mean, it was a little bit on the cliches. It was a little heavy on those cliches. And I was just... So if she doesn't become your sidekick, you're going to kill her parents. Why is it so important that she be your sidekick? What makes her key to this plan? I kept thinking, oh, this girl's going to have some sort of latent superpower, and that's why her parents have such ordinary jobs. The way they treated her, I felt like she was adopted. The fact that she has like this reddish pink hair, I was just like, oh yeah, she's totally gonna have superpowers. No, she does not have superpowers. Spoiler, she has no superpowers. No, her parents are just awful. They are her birth parents, and they are just awful and indifferent. It's not like they took her under their wing to protect her or anything, which I know. I'm laying heavy on the cliches, but I think my cliches would have made a much more interesting story, because it felt like that's what the author was building to and planning, and I guess she was trying to subvert my expectations, but then it ended up just falling flat because I didn't care about Rosemary. I didn't care about her relationship with her parents. In fact, I wanted Ironfall to kill her parents because they were awful. I mean, they do get what's coming to them by the end, but it was just all the dynamics, they were just not solid. I was not emotionally invested in this story at all. And then you have, her friend Cafe, who's also like a super Vigilant Auntie nerd, and he's also supposedly a really good hacker, but he's still in high school. And I'm just like, if you're that good of a hacker, you should at the very least be in college, skipped a few grades, I'm just thinking realistically. Clearly you're smart. Um, it just he's this good of a hacker to break into the school databases, which, let's face it, school databases breaking in not very hard. But he can break into the CIA database? I'm confused. It seemed really unrealistic to me, and I wasn't a fan of it. I was just like bored. I was bored. And then there are inserts that break up the story pacing. You know, you have interviews between Ironfall, so he's clearly been captured, and most of the story is you're recapping Rosemary's perspective, and then you have Ironfall's perspective during an interview. He's whatchamacallit, not interview, interrogation. And he's kind of recapping like his feelings of what you've just read. But you also have website forums talking about Vigilante the movie. Oh, their new movie is coming out. Awesome, great. Woo. And I was just like, well, that doesn't really add anything to the story, these forums. They didn't add anything. It's just like, okay, get it. We get it. Sorry, author. We get it. You're a geek. I'm a geek. We're all nerds. It seemed like superfluous information, and I wasn't a fan of it because it didn't add anything to the story, personally. I didn't think it added anything. But I think, oh God. For me, I think the worst thing about this book was those fight sequences. I learned this in school. Show, don't tell. I mean, they drill that into you. And when you go to school for writing, they drill that into you. Show, don't tell. Show, don't tell. But when you have sentences that read like this, and this is not an exaggeration: block, dodge, punch, kick, block, dodge, punch, kick, block, dodge, punch, kick. I mean, that gets really tedious. It's like, I don't need to know every time you throw a punch, every time he dodges, every time you dodge. I don't need to know that in such detail. Like, just write a fight sequence. The emotional impact of it. Delve into that more. I don't need punch, kick, dodge, punch, kick, dodge. I don't need that on repetition. It was boring. It was, like I said, repetitious. I wasn't a fan of it at all. So unfortunately, not one of my favorite books this year. Definitely for a younger audience, not someone who's 31 and reading young adult. Don't hate, you know you do it too. I think the writing could have been better. I think the storytelling could have been better. So I think I'm going to be gracious. I finished the book. I will give it a soft 3 out of 5 stars. Very soft. Very, very soft. I think I'm being generous considering how much I didn't like it on reflection. I wanted more, you know. I get the author was trying to subvert my expectations, but the way they did it was just not entertaining enough or engaging enough for me. So unfortunately, there's that. So 3 out of 5 stars. I will include links, of course, if you want to check out the book yourself. See if maybe you like it. See if maybe, hey, you've got a daughter who loves Marvel, who's young, who might like it. I definitely think it's going to be for young audiences, like 11 to 13, that's what I want to say. It's an easy read, for sure. So if you've got a kid who's struggling to read, I'd say, hey, try this novel, for sure. So 3 out of 5 stars. I will include links below on where to purchase the book if you so desire. And on that note, please don't forget to support me by liking the video, subscribe to the channel, and sharing it with all your book loving friends. You can also become a supporter on Buy Me Coffee, Ko-fi, Patreon, or by purchasing one of my handmade candles, or by following any of my social media platforms. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.